Hello everyone and welcome to a somewhat late prediction video. I had a bit of a crazy week this week, so that's why the videos have been a bit on the slow side. But regardless, we are here. We are up to the final prediction video. This weekend it's the grand final. But before we get into that, let's go through how my predictions went from the prelim finals. And we start with North Melbourne, who I thought was going to dominate Melbourne, but no, we got an insanely close final with Melbourne leading well into the third quarter. Obviously, Melbourne got 2 goals late and were able to carry a win, but darn, that was like one of the most tense ones. And for North Melbourne, of all teams, to almost lose. Wow, is there concern going to the grand final? But we'll see. Because on the other hand, the game I thought was going to be close, Brisbane vs Carlton, was an absolute blowout. Carlton, I think, was definitely... They reminded me a bit of how we were last year. I think they were a bit over their head getting into a prelim, and they unfortunately got a big reality check after dominating both West Coast and Hawthorn. But regardless, we're here. We are at the grand final, and... yeah, it's the same teams from the last 2 grand finals, and obviously Brisbane's on their 4th straight. So, yeah, you might notice I'm not the biggest fan of it being these 2 teams again. When I'm like, I want another team to be here. Like, even if we were expecting North to make the grand final again, but could we have got someone else like Melbourne or Carlton here? But regardless, this is who we got, and it's time to get to predictions. So obviously, the odds are still very much on North to win, despite what happened this weekend. We'll talk about it a bit later. And obviously, we also needed to mention the form. North has won the last 3 matchups, with the last time North ever losing a game was actually against Brisbane in the 2023 grand final. But regardless, yeah, as people saying, North Melbourne almost lost to Melbourne. So... are they crashing out? Is their dynasty coming to an end? Is Brisbane, who looked at absolute form against Carlton, are they going to beat North Melbourne? I can see it happening. I see there's a possibility of it. But to me, as they've been mentioning in the North Melbourne camp, the almost losing to Melbourne, I think, was the kick that they needed to get into second gear. Obviously, I thought the Hawthorn game and them not doing that well was going to kick them into gear. But no, I think definitely... that Melbourne game is definitely probably the kick they're going to get. Obviously, maybe they are crashing out, but the injury crisis doesn't seem too bad unless some players are doing worse than we thought. And it's for this reason that I think North's got to be in the strong. Because I think on the other hand, I think Brisbane might actually go into this game kind of cocky. I think after they defeated Carlton pretty easy, they haven't been given as much of the hard test that North got. Obviously, Brisbane did beat Melbourne as well, but I don't know. I'm just feeling that North is just still going to be the dominant side. For just the reason that North's been solid all year, even if they had a bit of a dodgy game against Melbourne. And again, Brisbane hasn't bet North Melbourne since 2023. So it's for this reason that I'm siding with Melbourne. I think they're going to win by 9. And in the sense of winning, I think North Melbourne will become the first ever team to win back-to-back AFLW premierships. So can we see some history being made? We shall see. So I hope you enjoyed these prediction videos. I maybe might do a season-wide review of the 2025 AFLW season next week. I also obviously got a video on Port Adelaide's draft pickups. But besides that, I guess we're almost at the... we might be out of videos soon, and I'll be tuning off for the long break. But until then, I will see you later.